Hey everyone, welcome back to another video and welcome back to another Faith on Friday. I'm so glad that you've decided to join me, and I hope that your Friday's going well and that you're looking forward to either a relaxing weekend or a fun-filled weekend. Whatever floats your boat, I hope that you are going to get to do that this weekend. Today I'm going to speak a little bit about survival and surviving while you're in the trenches. And I use this term all of the time, and the perspective I'm coming from is the perspective of a caregiver. And some of you are in the same boat that we are in. You're either caring for a special needs child, or you're caring for an elderly parent, or maybe a sibling or another family member. And I've always said that I can do anything for a short period of time, but it is the long-term lifetime view of some of these things that when I start to think about them, the devil just starts to speak into my spirit, and he starts changing my perspective, and I get down because I think I can't do this, I can't do it, I can't survive another day. And so I just wanted to speak a little bit about that today. And you know, when I'm at a prayer meeting, or when I am at a Bible study, or when I'm at a church service, I know, and I am totally confident in the fact that all of the things that happen to us work together for the good of those who believe in Jesus. And I know all of that in my mind, but it is harder for me to remember those things when I am completely saturated in one of Clayton's meltdowns, or if he's laying in the hospital sick and doesn't feel good, and I feel helpless as his mother to do something for him. So even though I know these things as a believer in my mind, it's really hard for me to survive the day-to-day sometimes, because I'm isolated, and to a certain extent Satan uses that as his power against me, the isolation. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about some things that I do personally to help me overcome some of that, because these are just, I guess, tricks and tips to survive the trenches until the miracle. I mean, in our case, we are praying for complete healing for Clayton, and from head to toe, not only his physical problems that he has as far as walking and his arm strength and all that stuff, we're also praying for complete healing for him developmentally. And I know that God is going to answer that prayer one way or the other. But surviving day to day until that happens is what I have to learn to do, and what I have to learn to do with a good attitude. So some of these things that I'm going to tell you, they are so simple and so they're like, oh, well, I could have thought of that. But I think it's a good reminder of just some things of why they work and why we can do them as we go in the day-to-day. And the first thing is something really simple and really easy, and that's playing praise music, praise and worship music. And you can find it on the radio, most of the places, any area these days. You can stream it online, you can stream it on your phone. And the devil doesn't want to be in the same place that somebody is worshiping God in. And if he hears music that is singing praises to Jesus and telling the Lord how great he is and how far he has brought us, then the devil doesn't want to be anywhere around that. And I have learned that also, not only does it move the devil out of the room, it helps me remember, and it helps me to just think of all the things that God has brought us through. If I'm playing praise music, my mind, kind of does that visual slideshow of all the things that God has brought us through. And I think, man, if He's brought us through those things, if He has brought us through those things and we are still here and we are still functioning, then I can do anything. I can do anything through Christ who is strengthening me. And so that is one just so simple, easy way. I used to listen to country music all the time, and I used to listen to pop music. And if I listen to those nowadays, I think about the sad things. I think about what could have been or what might have been. But if I turn the channel to K-Love, I'm just immediately reminded of God's grace and God's forgiveness and God's strength in me. And I feel like I can conquer anything when I've got music playing. And plus, the bonus is Satan can't speak to my mind when I'm listening to those things. There isn't room for Satan where you're praising God. The next thing that I would suggest is definitely having a few friends. It doesn't take but one or two, a few friends that you completely rely on for prayer support, because there are days when I literally cannot pray for myself, and I cannot pray for Clayton because I feel like I've said the same things over and over to God, and I'm so full of emotion that I don't even know what to say anymore. Lord, help me. I've said help me so many times that I don't even know how to pray for myself. And the Spirit will pray for us as well, but I love just being able to reach out in a text to a couple of friends of mine and just say, you know what? I need y'all to pray for me, and I need you to pray for me now, because I'm having trouble putting one foot in front of the other today. And I've got a couple of those friends that as soon as I say that, they text me back and they are on it. We're praying for you now. And when I don't know how to pray for myself, I've got those friends praying for me. That is one thing that having a small support group, it doesn't have to be large, a small support group of prayer warriors on your side, there is nothing, it's irreplaceable. And so I would suggest, and even it doesn't have to be somebody that, if you are isolated physically from people, it doesn't even have to be people that you know personally. It can be people that you've met online, because I've got some people that I know that I've met online and they are prayer warriors too, and I can reach out to them and say, you know what, I need you to pray. And so if you can't meet people physically, if you aren't able to do that, reach out to people in Facebook groups, these Bible journaling groups, or special needs groups, that people who have belief in God and they are prayer warriors and they're willing to pray for you. Hook up with those people and pray for them, and they will pray for you. Another super important tip that I have for you, and this is something that I fail at a lot and I need to do it more, and that's staying in the Word. And the more you are reading the Word and listening to people speak the Word, then the more saturated you become with God's plan for your life and God's plan for all of our lives. And the only way you're going to know that, and the only way you're going to know God's promises, is if you read them yourself. And sometimes you have to read them over and over and over again. There are some passages in my Bible that I've read and made notes over. In our case, passages regarding healing, I've read those so many times and I've got notes written all over them, because I have to be reassured that God has Clayton's concerns right in the palm of His hand, and He has His eye on Clayton, and He is taking care of him from day to day, and He's taking care of us as we take care of Clayton. But the only way that I can be reminded of those things is if I'm constantly saturating myself in the Word. And I do that by just opening up my Bible and reading. That's the simplest way. And God can speak to us in that way. But I also do it through devotions. I use Joyce Meyer, Beth Moore. Right now I'm doing the Joshua Code, and it is so simple, but it is so good. Just as far as like dissecting verses and telling, learning about what each verse means, like phrase by phrase. And also listening to different pastors. And Clayton loves to watch preaching. I mean, that's what he loves to do. So because of that, I've learned so much about what's in the Bible, because my son is watching these pastors, and I'm like, I think I need to sit down and listen to this guy, because he's got a word for me today. And so it may come in just reading on your own and studying on your own, but it also can come from listening to other people's perspective on the Word as well. But you've got to saturate yourself in God's Word if you want to stay positive and have God's perspective on your life and on what you're going through. I hope that those 3 things can help anybody that's out there that's going through a long-term, if you have a long-term battle against cancer going on, or if you have a long-term battle against depression, or any of those things that, it's not just a couple of days that you need to survive, but it's a long-term, like you're looking down the tunnel of life and you're thinking, how am I going to make it through this? I would say continuous praise to God through music and through worship, and then staying in His Word, definitely, and surrounding yourself with people who are willing to intercede for you on your behalf when you can't do it on your own. Those 3 things definitely are the keys to how I've survived the trenches that we stay in from day to day with a special needs child. And if you don't have anybody to pray for you, and you want me to pray, and you want my prayer group that I meet with to pray for you, by all means, speak up and comment below, and your name will be lifted up before the Father, and we will intercede on your behalf as well. So I hope that these tips help you survive the day-to-day, and if you have anything else to add, make sure that you comment below. If you like this video, definitely give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any other things that you want me to speak about or speak to on these little Faith on Friday videos, then speak up, and I will definitely look into that. So I will see you all next week in my planning videos, and next week on Faith on Friday. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.